Welcome into Sports of Steel. Ferg here with you to get you ready for week 3 of the Saturday slate. Gonna talk a little bit about Missouri's week 2 dominating win over West Virginia. Get you ready for the matchup versus the Southeast Missouri State Redhawks. I'll give you my 3 games to watch this week, and my favorite part of the show every week, my upset picks of the week. All right, let's get started with Missouri's dominating win last week over West Virginia. Man, it's amazing what 1 week can really do for a football team. I mean, week 1, we saw the Tigers at their just absolute worst. I mean, those 3 fumbles, they lost the turnover battle, 3-0. And look, it was a little bit of luck. The fumbles are not going to magically always just pop up to players that are running the opposite direction. So we see last week, just some mental gaps. And then, just lack of effort on some plays as well in that week 1. I'm talking to you, Jonathan Nance. I mean, that was probably almost one of the weakest attempts I've ever seen of somebody trying to tackle somebody as they're running to the end zone. But then last week, we see almost the best of what Missouri could possibly be. They won the turnover battle 3-0. The offense played well. The defense was flying around. And really the trick for Coach Odom and his coaching staff is to get this team to play like week 2 more consistently than what we saw in week 1. I mean, we saw a defense, like I said, that was just absolutely flying around out there. They're playing with their hair on fire. They held West Virginia to 137 yards passing, 30 yards rushing. It was really great to see this defense really respond, especially the rushing defense. I mean, in the week 1, we saw them give up 297 yards to Wyoming. I mean, that's just ridiculous. It was also great to see him finally, win that turnover battle 3-0, like I said. Nick Bolton with 2 of the 3 interceptions that Missouri had. And look, he even returned one of those for a touchdown. So I love the way that we saw this defense play. There was a lot to like, on the defense side of the ball. And one of the things that really stood out to me, man, Adam Sparks, welcome to the show, man. Holy crap. He came into the game. He really showcased his physicality at that cornerback position. Something that you don't really see a whole lot of. You don't see cornerbacks really going in there, putting their face in there to make tackles, make plays. And it's one thing to go in there and make a big hit. It's another thing to really wrap that guy up and take him to the ground. Something that Sparks did a great job. I mean, it was very noticeable in the game. Something hopefully we continue to see here the rest of the year. Hopefully it becomes infectious. Hopefully you see that more from AC and Holmes and Ware and really just the whole defense. Wrapping up, taking guys to the ground. It was really great to see. All right, offensively, it was nice to see Larry Roundtree return to form. He had 145 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Kelly Bryant, another great game from him as well. Really, he only played 1 half as he found Alberto for 2 touchdowns. I thought the offense was just really solid in the first half. It was 150 yards through the air, those touchdown passes. The ground game was really going well. Things got stagnant in the second half when Bryant went out and Powell came in. And I think there's 2 reasons for that. I think Taylor Powell, one, was maybe I think he was a little kind of reserved. He didn't want to make any mistakes on the pass plays that they did have. And then 2, I think Derek Dooley was just beyond being conservative as well. I think they didn't want to give West Virginia any opportunities to kind of come back in this football game at all. But they didn't want to give up any turnovers or anything like that. So, I think they're being pretty vanilla. I don't think they were really trying to really push the ball out, down the field and things like that and score. But that's something that they really need to work on this week because, hey, look, you never know. This could happen in the first quarter of a game. Kelly Bryant may overheat or look, he got hit up high. I don't necessarily believe he got a concussion. I don't think Missouri's trying to hide that or anything like that. He may have been overheating. And look, sometimes guys get their bell rang and, they just don't feel great. It doesn't necessarily mean they have a concussion. I mean, I've had my bell rung plenty of times and it didn't quite feel right, especially if you're feeling some overheating as well. I think it could have been a multitude of those things going on. I mean, hell, he may have had a concussion. I don't know. Missouri didn't say he did. He was back practicing this week. Seems just fine. So, had to take the coaching staff and the medical staff really at their word. But all in all, though, I really think last week really helped restore some confidence in this team. Something that they needed. Really kind of really go into this week with some confidence because they need this week to really just keep building on that confidence before next week's conference opener against South Carolina. So really excited to see what we see from the Tigers this week. Speaking of this league, let's get to Missouri's Week 2 matchup. The Southeast Missouri Redhawks come into Columbia to take on the Missouri Tigers. That's a 7:30 Eastern start. 6:30. You can see the game on SECN. I believe it's on the alternate channel. Hey, look, SEC just put something out. So if you're a DirecTV customer like me, SEC just put something out saying that you may not see games this week. I don't know with ESPN. And DirecTV are having a dispute. Disney, I should say, because Disney owns them all, are having a dispute and may not have them. I don't know, man. I know DirecTV SC alternate channel for me is channel 611 -1. So if you have DirecTV, you should be able to find it there. If it's not there, hey, look, if I have a hard time believing that Disney would pull that programming from DirecTV, but if it happens, man, it happens. I think you can get Hulu free for like a 7-day subscription or something like that. So if you want to go that route to be able to watch the games, hey, do that. ESPN app is probably another one, but I don't know if they'll pull it if you have a DirecTV account or not. I'm not sure, but hey, just kind of give you a heads up. That's what I saw out there on Twitter. I retweeted it, I believe. So just something to kind of look for there. All right. Look, not going to go really too much into this. Missouri should win this game pretty easily. It should definitely be over by the third quarter, and that's not anything against Southeast Missouri State. I know the offensive coordinator Jeremy McDowell played under him he was one of our assistant coaches my freshman through junior in high school. So got a lot of respect for Coach McDowell. Obviously idolized him growing up. If you were a kid and you were in the North County School District at my age, you obviously idolized number 4 growing up in what he was able to do at North County. So obviously I got a lot of respect for the Southeast Missouri program, but it's just, literally we're talking 2 different tier type of teams here, not just FBS and FCS, but Missouri is superiorly greater than the Redhawks. And look, the line right now, Missouri's coming to this game as a 33-point favorite. I really don't think it's going to be that close, to be honest with you. Not if they play like they did last week. It won't be that close. I've got Missouri win this game 55-6. I think Larry Roundtree, Tyler Beatty, I think both end up with 100 yards total offense apiece. I think Bryant, the receiver, should have a pretty big day. If that's, first half going for only 150 yards and getting pulled again, hey, so be it. I'd much rather that happen, similar to like last week, than him staying the whole game and go for 400. There's no need. If the game's over at halftime, if it's 31-0, man, just pull them out, save them. We got conference game next week. No need to burn them. All right, some news and notes to get you ready for this game. Senior wide receiver Jonathan Johnson just needs 11 more yards to hit 2,000 in his career. Man, I really hope that Derek Dooley and them can somehow get this out of the way early. I really hope they can just first play of the game, target Johnson, get his 11 yards, get him over 2,000. I think it'd be really cool for him and for the fans. Mizzou has scored at least 31 points in 7 consecutive games. That's dating back to last season, obviously. It's the first time they've done this since it was the first 7 games of the 2013 season, so it's been a minute since they've scored 31 in 7 consecutive. And then also, junior running back Larry Roundtree just needs 27 more yards to move from 16th on Mizzou's all-time rushing list to 14. So again, I think he's going to get that obviously in the first quarter. It may be after the second carry, maybe after the third. Have to wait and see. But I do believe both guys are going to meet those marks this week. All right, now it's time to transition into look at the 3 games I'm going to be watching this week. Game number 1 that I'm going to be watching, number 19, Iowa Hawkeyes go on the road to take on Iowa State. Cyclones in the battle of the Cy Hawk Trophy. Kickoff time for that is set for 4 Eastern, 3 Central. You can find that game on Fox Sports 1. That's going to be a great matchup. Great rivalry game. Look, I love these rivalry games. It's the only thing I really miss about the Big 12. It's just a rivalry game with Kansas. I like it. I'm not saying that Missouri has to have that game. But it's good for both sides, honestly, to play that game. Look, even if Missouri lost, it's great. It's a great rivalry. It's historical. It goes back to the Civil War and means something. Both teams, I don't know why, but they needed to figure this out and get this lined up again. And in this game, look, I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna pick the Hawkeyes on the road over the Cyclones. Cyclones just really struggled in that first week for me. So against Northern Iowa, I have a hard time picking them. But they are coming off a bye. Matt Campbell is a good head coach, especially in big games. He seems to get his guys going. But I'm going to go Hawkeyes in this one. All right, game number 2. I'm going to keep an eye on this week, or really that you should watch this week. Is number 1 Clemson. They are on the road taking on Syracuse. Kickoff time for that 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. You can find that game on ABC. Look, I don't know what it is about the Carrier Dome, but for whatever reason, when teams come to the Carrier Dome, sometimes they forget how to play football. I don't understand it. I don't know if it's the lighting. I don't know if it's the fact it's a freaking dome and that these kids are not really used to playing in a dome. I don't know. But for whatever reason, Syracuse at home in the Carrier Dome, they play great. And other teams flop for whatever reason. I don't think it's going to happen in this one. I think Clemson obviously is going to win this game. Syracuse got routed last week against Maryland on the road, I think, there. But, I just think Clemson's too much for Syracuse. Even though I will say this, Syracuse gave Clemson a hell of a game last year. So Syracuse could do it. I just don't think it's going to happen. All right, my third game of the week. It's a conference game. Number 9, Florida Gators going on the road to take on the Kentucky Wildcats. Kickoff for that is set for 7 Eastern, 6 Central. You can find that on ESPN. Look, it's a conference game. Last year, Kentucky beat Florida for the first time. It was like over 20 years down in Gainesville. It was a huge, really momentum building win for the Wildcats. I think that was the game that really Kentucky started to believe that, hey, we can do something. We can compete in this division and potentially win an SEC East. This is really a big game in the East, to be honest with you. If Florida loses this game, they're going to have a hard time continuing in the East because they're so good. They're going to have to beat, obviously Missouri and then beat Georgia as well. So the loser of this game is going to be kind of behind the 8 ball a little bit, as far as the East standings go. So interested to see how this one goes. I'll pick this game here in a minute because you know where it's going. All right, so those are my 3 games to watch this week. Now it's my favorite time of the week. It's my time for the upset picks of the week. Went 3-3 last week, folks. Hey, got them all right. Picked USC over Stanford. I got Colorado they took down Nebraska. Oh, man, and I can't think of my third pick off the top. Maryland over Syracuse. Duh. Got them all 3 right last week. Hoping to go 3 for 3 this week. We'll see. I'm 4-5 on the year in upset picks through 2 weeks, so, hey, doing pretty good so far. All right, so the first upset pick of the week, it's the first game of the week, Friday night game. I got the Houston Cougars at home over the 20th ranked Cougars of Washington State. That kickoff for that is set for 9:15 Eastern, 8:15 Central. That game is on ESPN. Kind of a weird, funky start. I guess really to kind of accommodate the fact that it's Pac-12 and obviously playing in Houston. But I just like, as much as I like Mike Leach, and truly appreciate the program he's built there. I think he's got one of the toughest jobs, really, and probably all Power 5 for the most part. Maybe not completely the toughest, but one of them. It's a Friday night game on the road. Dana Holgerson's going to have his group ready to go. And look, it's going to be a high-scoring air raid explosion on Friday night. Like, the dang sirens are going to be howling in Houston because they think there are going to be some missiles coming in from all the passing that's going to be going on Friday night. I wouldn't be shocked at all if there's over 900 yards passing in this football game. And look, I think Houston, they've played Oklahoma. They're not going to be intimidated to play Washington State at all. So I think they come out confident as confident as you can be, and I think they take down Washington State. All right, next upset pick I got for you this week. I got Stanford on the road over number 17 UCF. Look, I know you're like, Ferg, you had USC upset them last week. What changes? Look, UFC is an adorable Disney story, all right? They get themselves little championships. They make themselves all glorious down there in Orlando. But Stanford gets their starting quarterback back, and I think they just run it all over UCF. They don't allow UCF to get into their up tempo offense, and I think honestly UCF is going to have a hard time stopping that Stanford phone booth offense. All right, they're going to have a hard time matching up inside. Stanford runs it over them. Look, I like both coaches, but give me David Shaw over Josh Heupel any day of the week. And my last upset pick of the week, I wasn't going to do it, but I started thinking about it, really started talking about it. Look, this Kentucky team is confident, right? They've won both of their games so far. They didn't really play anybody great, but they've won them. So they've been building up some confidence. They beat Florida last year. This is a team that's not sitting there going, oh my God, we've lost to the Gators 20-something times in a row. Like that stuff can weigh on your shoulders a little bit if you haven't beaten somebody in over 2 decades. This is a Kentucky team that's confident. They're not scared of the Gators. They're at home. That's why I think Kentucky gets the upset at home over number 9 Florida on Saturday night. Again, that game kickoff is 7 Eastern, 6 Central on ESPN. All right. That's it. That's all I got for you guys on this edition of the Saturday Slate. Week 3, not a whole lot really going on in college football. Not a lot of really big top 25 matchups. We'll see that next week in Week 4. Hopefully in Week 4 I'll have another guest on the show to kind of help me break down that South Carolina-Missouri game. So please look out for that. Please don't forget also to like the Facebook page. It is STL Fan Zone. So go to Facebook, type in STL Fan Zone. You'll find it. Click the like button. Also, please subscribe on YouTube. All you got to do is go to YouTube, search Sports of Steel, go to the filter button, filter it with channels. You'll see the logo there. It's just a microphone and the Sports of Steel underneath it, which is Sports of Steel, your place to get the cold hard facts on all things Tigers, Blues, and St. Louis Cardinals. Had to get the plug in, And then you can also follow me on Twitter. That is just at Sports of Steel. And that's it, man. I hope you guys all have a great weekend. Hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Facebook. Let me know what you're doing this weekend. I know for me, my son's got his very first flag football game tomorrow. My youngest son, my 5-year-old, he's a quarterback, and really looking forward to seeing how his team is going to play. I'm the assistant coach on his team. We've been practicing all week. That's why this podcast is coming out a little bit late, really this week. So really excited to do that. Hopefully fix my barbecue grill. I got one of those electric pellet smokers, so got to get that thing fixed sometime on Saturday so I can grill. So let me know what you're doing. If you're grilling, let me know what you're grilling and all that stuff. And again, I hope you guys all have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you guys all next week.